Welcome back to the 10 Show. For those who suffer from depression and anxiety, this time of year can be especially difficult. It's the after the holidays winter blues, and it's a lot more serious than it sounds. The good news is that depression is treatable, and there is plenty of help out there. And our next guest wants to make sure you know about it. Therese Borchard is a syndicated columnist, blogger, and now author of the about-to-be-released book, tomorrow, Beyond Blue, Surviving Depression and Anxiety and Making the Most of Bad Genes. Therese, great to see you.
Thank you.
There's a lot of humor in this book and your blog, too, which you've been working on for how long now?
3 years.
3 years.
Humor is such an important part of my recovery. It's like the song says, if you can't laugh at yourself, you're going to go insane. So if you're insane, then you better at least laugh.
When did you realize that you were a victim of bad genes? Because to look at you, nobody would ever suspect that.
Well, thank you. It happened right after I was forced out of the uterus. I've suffered from anxiety and depression all my life, but it was after I had my babies that it was the whammo. And let's go to the hospital kind.
You've really been through the mental illness mill, too.
I have, yeah. Yeah, in fact, the DSM, the shrink manual, I checked off most of everything in that little book.
The DSM, what is
Diagnostic Statistical Manual, the 4th edition. They're in the process of making a 5th. They interviewed me for the 5th.
Oh, really? So you're going to get a credit? Maybe your own chapter? I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, but I think every person's depression is, varied, but mine was there from the start. But I think anyone who has it in their genes, motherhood really exacerbates it, and especially in those early years when your hormones are just like doing the Macarena.
Now, most everyone can suffer from depression at one point in their life, but some
That's true.
have it worse than others. The tips you have in the book, they're appropriate for everyone.
I think so. I mean, I think if you're not clinically depressed or if you're not severely depressed, then you can do it without medication. You can do cognitive behavioral therapy. You can do it, exercise is tremendous help. Light therapy, friends, support groups, all that can usually bring the mild to moderate depression at bay. But if you're like me, when I went through a suicidal 2 years, you're not in a position to let those cognitive behavioral skills help you because you can't. And so for me, I needed to see a right doctor, to get on the right medication in order to do those things.
Is the tendency when you're depressed is to isolate yourself?
It is. And I think that's the number one thing. You want to be around your friends as much as possible because it's harder to ruminate and obsess when you're around people because you really should try and pay attention to what they're saying. And when you got this role, in the back of your mind and you're obsessing and ruminating, it's harder to do that when you're with people because, you're interacting with them and you're being disrupted and, interrupted. And so, yes, that's an important tool. Did you want to hear the other tools for the winter depression?
Let's hear some other tools. Absolutely.
One thing I think is to pamper yourself and to, maybe come up with a day at the spa, a massage, outing with the friends. For me, it's any night's sleep all the way through 8 to 9 hours of sleep without the kids. That, to me, is pamper. I think if you assign yourself a purpose, Abe Lincoln, who didn't have the benefit of having medication, really turned his melancholy into the mission of emancipation. And I think I really get a lot of inspiration from that because I tend to think, well, if my meds poop out at a certain point, then Abe is my vision of recovery because he was able to train that melancholy and make it into a beautiful movement of emancipation. In fact,
he already took care of emancipation, but you can create your own.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I think the blog does that for me. I think when I wake up each morning, I get at least 1 or 2 emails that say, wow, your blog helped me through today. I was on the tip of the deep hole of depression, and you pulled me over, or you pulled me away. And that, to me, that vision, that purpose, higher purpose, really does help me in my recovery.
Well, and the book is out tomorrow, officially, Beyond Blue, Surviving Depression and Anxiety and Making the Most of Bad Genes. And just in time, too, because supposedly the most depressing day of the year is just a couple weeks away.
It's the depression bomb. The weather bomb. When all the snow and, it's the perfect storm of depression because it's the bills, the Christmas bills come in, your resolutions have gone to hell, and the sunlight is gone forever. Bye-bye.
But other than that, everything's great.
Yes, of course.
Therese Borchard, great to see you. Thank you so much.
You
Congratulations
too.
on the book. Justin, what's going on out there?